How's it going, guys? Oh boy, it has been a rough week for your boy. I have had a very rough week of just being sick. That's just basically bad. I'm still sick, by the way. But iRacing has decided, you know what? Milad over here, he's been sick for a week now, basically. Let's drop another dev diary for him. So iRacing, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And no, I'm actually not that important. They did not think about me at all when they released this. So this is a dev diary. I went ahead and downloaded it. I've not watched the entire thing. I saw it come out last night, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'll watch like the first minute. That's what I did. I saw a screenshot, but I haven't seen the entire 6 minutes or basically of what they said here. So let's go ahead and react to it. I'll give you guys my thoughts. We will see what they are talking about, if they dropped anything else. I don't think they dropped gameplay because you guys would have sent that to me. So yeah, I've only seen like a screenshot. So expect a lot of talking here. Let's get right into it. I want to give a shout out to all the Patreon members. By the way, you guys are the absolute best. Thank you guys always for your support. Happy November, everybody. Hopefully you are feeling well. I will be okay soon. I just need this virus to get through my system, and however long that takes that's how long it will take. Okay, let's go. Let's get into this. Let me see it. Yep, there we go. I can pause. All right, NASCAR 25. What do they got to say?
One of the things I really believe as a game director is getting the details right. And this includes everything from the sound of the engines to the roar of the fans to the motion behind the scenes. And so when the player is sitting down at home and kind of enjoying it in that experience, that's the emotion and feel I want to bring to the fans when they're playing the game.
When we started this company, we made some very, very important decisions. One of those was we really wanted to focus the product on authenticity. And one of the thoughts that we had was, if we are able to build a product that real-world racers
So they're talking about
is
iRacing.
an accurate representation.
They're not talking about
of
NASCAR
what
25
they
right
do,
now.
that the community and the industry will follow.
Everyone here at iRacing is super excited about this NASCAR franchise, moving it to console, NASCAR 25 and beyond, and continuing to develop it on PC. NASCAR has been a terrific partner.
Wait.
They understand.
What do you say right there?
what
Hold
we
on.
are
Wait, back up.
and
Back up.
beyond,
What do you say?
and continuing to develop it on PC. NASCAR is super excited about this NASCAR franchise, moving it to console, NASCAR 25 and beyond, and continuing to develop it on PC.
So continuing to develop it on PC. So that's still the big question that they just don't want to answer at the moment. Is will this game be on PC? I am hoping it is, selfishly as a content creator, but also PC is just better, man. If you have the option for a PC, you can obviously unlock frame rate, boost graphic details, modding as well is a possibility. Yeah, they still won't answer that question. My belief is still they won't do it because it's not beneficial to them. What I mean by that is, why would you want NASCAR 25 coming to PC when you would rather prefer people go purchase iRacing? Well, because it's a membership, either monthly or yearly membership that you can always keep going. And, you know, people got to pay for the tracks, people got to pay for the cars. iRacing is a lot more expensive. That will generate them a lot more revenue. So why would you then want to put a much cheaper alternative, which would be like a $60 or $70 video game, for one-time payment only, and why would you want to put that on PC? Looking at it from a business perspective, guys, I just don't think they will put this game on PC. I don't see that happening because it is simply detrimental to their main product, which is iRacing. The less competition you have on PC for iRacing, the better. The more you can monopolize that market. And you can, well, obviously they don't have a monopoly on the market. Anyone can make simulation games on PC, but as the company, they want to enter the console space. So that is what I am seeing. I would love for them to drop it on PC. I just don't think that will happen. I hold out maybe a 10 to 20% hope that there is still a chance they do that, but I would not get your hopes up just because, yeah, it doesn't seem likely unless they come out and say, yeah, this game is being developed for PC, which they just don't want to do. I mean, people have asked them. I've seen on the Twitter replies all the time. People are like, "Hey, is this releasing on PC? Is this releasing?" And they, you know, the World of Outlaws games don't release on PC. Exocross did release on PC, so maybe they'll do that. You know, there's one thing there, but yeah, they just, I feel like they would have answered that question by now, and they simply kind of just don't want to. So I think when he says continue to develop the NASCAR franchise on PC. I think he's talking about obviously all the NASCAR licensing that they have to use on iRacing on PC. That is what I think they are saying. So that's just my opinion. Again, I do hope that the game does release
has
on PC,
been
just
a
because
terrific
better platform.
partner. They understand what we are and how we can bring motor racing to the fan in a way that hasn't been done before.
My name is Steve Reese. I've been at iRacing for 8 years, and I am the lead vehicle dynamics engineer for NASCAR 25. So prior to coming to iRacing, I spent roughly a decade working as a race engineer in the NASCAR Cup Series, working for a variety of top-tier drivers, including Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Bobby Labonte, and many others. As we approach the console-based vehicle model, we've got a wealth of knowledge and history to draw from.
I guess this is
with
a
the much
rendering
more
model.
complex.
So let's look at that again. That's a pretty sick career, by the way. To go from why is my thing not playing?
As we
There we go.
approach
To go from being a race engineer in the garage area for 10 years, and then iRacing comes over, he's like, hey, everything you learned, yeah, can you just implement that into like a technology, like into a software program, basically?
the
And
console-based vehicle model,
that's, I
we've
mean,
got
that's a cool job. All right, so that is the that's the Mustang, right? Yeah, that's the render of the Mustang. It looks like. Hopefully I'm not wrong there, but that does look like a Ford Mustang.
a wealth of
And it does have everything. I mean, it's a completely
knowledge and
laser
history to draw
scan, so that's
from
not a
with the much
surprise.
more
There's the cockpit. Now, one thing I am looking for, so you have the dash right here, and then you have obviously like the ignition switches here. But one thing that iRacing doesn't have yet is the rear view camera. And there's a rear view camera that you can place in this car, and it depends on the team and the driver wherever they want it. You can place it here, you can place it by the dash, you can place it up by the mirror, you can place it right here by the left A post. You can put it right there. You know, this is where your switches are for the engine stuff. So I don't know if this game will have that. It's a little bit complicated to put a rear view camera in the cockpit, and then also when you switch the camera angle to then have a rear view camera above your head if you're like following the car in a first person or in a chase view. So yeah, I would like to see a rear view camera in the cockpit though, because that would make cockpit a lot more accessible. In my opinion, if you don't have that rear view camera in the cockpit, then it becomes a little bit less accessible, obviously. So I'm hoping they do that, but I don't currently see that in the rendering.
complex iRacing vehicle models. We're looking to provide the user with changes in weights, tire
This is the
characteristics,
screenshot I saw. So yeah, this is
horsepower,
probably the thumbnail of the video
aerodynamics.
as well. Is this? So this is the this is NASCAR 25. This is not iRacing. This is NASCAR 25. They have their number 64. That's their default number that they've been using since NR 2003. And so nothing new there. Now, interesting things. Like I did see this last night. Obviously, you're gonna have, and I've been playing World of Outlaws a lot. You're gonna see iRacing everywhere, like that iRacing logo. When you create a team, you're going to be able to, like, for example, use Penske or Monster Games, or Jeff Fabiano's name might be in here. You know, you'll be able to, like, customize your paint scheme like that. Just looking at that paint scheme, that probably tells you there's not a paint booth. It's going to be kind of like the way you make a custom car is going to be similar to the other Monster Games cars, where it's going to be not too simple, but nothing crazy like a paint booth. You're not going to be able to transport something off of the PC, which again, if this game did have any ties to PC, it opens so many opportunities in terms of just being able to, you know, customize paint schemes on the computer and then transport them to the game. That'd be really cool, obviously. That is something that iRacing has. But yeah, this is just the garage area. Probably like a pre-race cutscene or something. It's nothing too crazy. And I think that's the main thing that you see in this trailer.
We're looking to provide the user.
Yeah, this is a
with
laser
changes
scan.
in weights,
And so yeah, this
tire
is just
characteristics,
everything that's it looks good. I mean, I have no complaints.
horsepower.
The thing about the 90 the 96 monster team or monster thing is that this game will probably have a fantasy teams, which I like, by the way. You don't need to use fantasy teams, but it's just, you know, something to fill out, which also means this could have the Xfinity series and the truck series, because sometimes they will use, if they can't get the licensings for all the smaller teams, they'll use fantasy custom teams to fill out the Xfinity and the truck series. So that's something cool there. But yeah, you can see, I think is that a driver over there right here above the car? You can see the driver in the car there. Yeah, everything looks good. No, I mean, It's only like a little quick screenshot, so there's not much you could really
All of that
go off of. You have the little jack right here. This is the jack. Everything looks nice.
to give the user the most immersive experience possible.
One of the most exciting things for me on the console side is having access to the laser scan data. If you
Laser
contrast
scan
that
data.
to what
There. Oh, here we go. Okay, so that is Richmond. This is Richmond fully laser
was
scans.
done in
Let's
earlier
continue.
NASCAR
Let's listen.
games, you know, they were accurate to a point, but you're building it based on photo reference and CAD drawings and some things that were, in some cases at these tracks.
Okay, what was this track? That's definitely not Richmond. This is, man, I actually don't know what the track this is. Man, I don't know. I actually can't tell what track this is. Maybe you guys could let me know based off the billboards. This looks like turn 2. I wanted to say Homestead, but it doesn't look like Homestead. Yeah, I don't know what track this is, but this is a big question that we've had, is that will this game take advantage of iRacing's already very deep portfolio of laser scan tracks? They have every NASCAR licensed track scanned in iRacing. Will it be as simple as taking those scans and being able to port them over to the console? Well, it looks like, based off what they're saying, they're showing multiple tracks here. This is Richmond. I think. Yeah, that's 100% Richmond. That means that all tracks should be scanned. That's a very big deal. If you guys want to just look back at NASCAR 21 Ignition, the two best racetracks on that game in terms of driving, in terms of looks, was Circuit of the Americas and Nashville. Those were the only two tracks in that game that was laser scanned. Only two tracks. So it's a very big deal to have every track laser scanned. Now, that they won't have it laser scanned to the exact year. For example, like will Homestead Miami be laser scanned to 2024? No, but they will take the most previous model that they have, which iRacing already does have, and they might implement it into there. And I'd much rather take a 3-year-old laser scanned track into the console game than a track that's not laser scanned. It is such a big deal because they're able to get every bump and every detail around the track correctly, and also just the way the track is laid out. How many times have you guys went to in NASCAR console gaming, went to Charlotte, and Charlotte literally has different dimensions in each game? Like, it might be really narrow in one game, or it might be super wide, like in NASCAR 09. That won't have those issues will not be a problem at all in the laser scan, because they're going to have the correct dimensions for everything. So that's a very big deal to me. So if they do end up having
building it based on
all these laser scan tracks, what can you guys tell me what track this is? Because I keep trying to think. It could be Kansas, but it doesn't look like Kansas. I don't know. I don't know what track this is. I wanted to say Homestead because I've been to Homestead a lot, and this looks like the exit of turn 2 at Homestead. But yeah, I don't know. So let me know.
Drawings and some things that were, in some cases at these tracks, 30, 40 years old from when they were originally built.
Laser scans are critical to the foundation of the tracks that we've built in NASCAR 25 and in iRacing. They are streamlined to load straight into our track modeling tools, and we
That's
are
Daytona.
able to trace geometry, 3D models onto the points that we've captured out in the real world. These points and the geometry will provide you with a surface that is precise to the millimeter. So every little subtlety, every little nuance that
This is this Charlotte? I'm trying to take is that Charlotte? That looks like Charlotte, right? That's the Roval? I think that's Charlotte, guys. Or it might not be. No, that looks like Charlotte. Or maybe it's Atlanta? It could be Atlanta. It could be. The infield is messing with my head, but just looking at the configuration of the Roval, it looks like the Roval. It looks like the old layout of the Roval. So I think that might be the Roval, but yeah, that's either Charlotte or Atlanta. That's one of the two. It looks like Charlotte in my opinion.
world you will feel. Laser scanning technology is critical to the authenticity of NASCAR 25. You will see everything that the real world race car driver sees, and you will feel everything that the real world race car driver feels, whether it's that switch or weld or rivet on the car or bump or crack on the track. We'll have it there for you.
So that's very good news, guys. So not only the tracks, but the cars. I think NASCAR 21 Ignition had the cars laser scanned as well. I'm not entirely sure. I don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but yeah, to have the cars laser scanned, to have the tracks laser scanned. Again, they already have this. They don't have to pay extra money for it, and it seems like they are able to port it over onto what would be the Unreal Engine. So they're taking their assets and actually porting it from iRacing, which is a custom engine, and they're porting it over to a new game engine, which I'm not sure exactly how they're doing that, but that's very impressive and very convenient for them, and probably a very big deal that they're able to port over those scans. So very nice on that.
They were one of the first ones to put that much effort in how exact a model a racetrack might be, down to the very, the smallest bump or imperfection in the surface of the racetrack. And so they've been doing it that way for a long time. And what that has done is produce the most realistic experience. When you go out on a racetrack and you drive on that track, there's almost a sense of deja vu when you see the real thing.
So the way they're talking about this is that it's going to be a lot closer to iRacing than people realize. Because, yeah, you won't have the graphical power of a PC, but if you have the laser scan tracks, it really depends. So what this is going to depend on is what will the tire model and the physics system be based around. Because I don't think it's going to be based around what iRacing has. That's going to be very fascinating because they have all the tracks laser scanned and they have the cars laser scanned. What will that physics system be like? Will it be able to mimic that real life feel? That does seem like to be iRacing's focus. They are focused on making a console game that's accessible to everybody, that's accessible to game pads, and that will, you will have assists like stability control and traction control to help you, get on the racetrack. But their main focus out of everything seems to be trying to port the feel of iRacing, the legit feel of iRacing that you get onto a wheel. And obviously you can still use a wheel on console, but they're trying to port that feel into a controller, into a gamepad, onto a console. That seems to be their main focus beyond anything else. And if they can nail that, I think what they are thinking, and what I do think is the right way to go about this, is that if you can nail that initial feeling in the first NASCAR game, NASCAR 25, then you can focus on all the candy on top, the features and all the other stuff, right? Career mode and all this other stuff, paint booth. You can focus on all that later down the line. As long as you get the main part of the game correct, then they can continue on. That seems to be what they're focused on.
Racing is truly unique in the sports world when it comes
I really wish they'd... I know that's not ready, but I mean, I just don't really want to see clips of iRacing. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, but it's not going to look like that on the console. So.
If you're the best NBA 2K player in the world, there is no chance you are stepping out onto a basketball court and scoring a basket on LeBron James. If you're the best iRacer in the world, we have proven time and time again that skill translates over into the real world, then it is possible.
It's not like you can go to your local sporting goods store and buy a go-kart and take it out to a local racetrack and just begin racing. And, there are significant barriers to entry. If you want to become a Cup Series driver, there are steps involved. And to be able to have something like iRacing and a platform that exists today where you can drive next-gen cars on any Cup track. I mean, you look at some of our biggest stars in our sport. William Byron, I think, is the best example of it. He began in iRacing and still uses iRacing every day today. And if you look at the progression of him coming up through our series from the Craftsman Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and Cup Series, he probably accelerated quicker than anyone else to get to Cup. And I would say a big reason for that is
there's a lot of yapping now.
I remember my first race, and I knew the sport intellectually from watching it on TV. But the first time I was inside in the infield.
Okay, now they're just yapping. This is a yap session.
And I watched them
guys,
line up.
We get it.
Ready for the
what are we talking about now?
And the roar and the sound and the smell and the cheer of the fans really was part of the experience that make NASCAR work as a sport. And I was so thrilled there that I remember thinking that I need to bring this feeling home.
So the most important thing is, for me, is to regain the trust of the NASCAR video game fan. to make certain that they believe in what we're doing and that when they play the game, they think it's authentic and enjoyable, and we get all the little details of the sport correct. We've been working really hard to make this the very best NASCAR game it can be, and I'm really excited to share with you our progress as we get closer to the launch of NASCAR 25.
Okay, so I thought that was very interesting what he said, is to regain the trust. It's kind of, I would say, I feel kind of bad for them because it's not their fault. You know, like, when was the last good NASCAR game? Probably NASCAR Heat 4, I would say, by Monster Games, which released in 2019 or 2020. So it's been about a pretty long time. And before that, obviously, the NASCAR Heat games went through a it went through a cycle of just, there wasn't a lot of funding, you know, for 704 games and stuff and Monster Games. Obviously, Monster Games is now with iRacing. Before that, you had the Utechnics games, and to be fair, Inside Line and NASCAR 14 I thought were pretty decent. So, yeah, NASCAR 21 did a lot of damage to the brand, I think, and especially in like the social media age, it did a lot of damage. Like even like IGN caught onto it and stuff like that. So it did a lot of damage. So I do feel bad when John says to regain the trust of the NASCAR video game fan, because when they see this game, NASCAR 25, the casual person's going to be like, oh, a NASCAR video game. I haven't seen that in a long time. Oh, the last one sucked. And before that, I don't even remember. So, yeah, like, is this game any good? Like, they don't know that it's made by iRacing. They might not even know what iRacing is because they don't have a PC. So, it's a very big step for them. But yeah, 6 minutes. I feel like that dev diary didn't have to be 6 minutes. It could have been like 4. I feel like they talked everything from basically right here when Dale came on, they kind of just went through a yapping session about, you know, how iRacing focuses on making everything realistic, and it's like, all right, we know that. How does that implement into the console game? And then for the babies, the rest of the way, they were yapping until John came along. So, good old yap sessions. Yeah, I don't mind. Let's all sit around the coffee table and talk for 2 hours about our memories. I mean, I think that's always good time. This dev diary, this is the biggest thing, is the laser scans. So take it out of that they do seem to have all tracks and cars and stuff laser scanned. So that is going to be a very big deal. It's still bothering me that I don't know what this track is. My final guess is going to be Homestead. I don't know why. I just think this is Homestead. I'm probably wrong, but maybe that's Texas. No, but doesn't Texas have like a building or something, like a hotel over here? It could be because of how wide it is, you know? Like maybe this bottom lane right here is the bottom lane of Texas. Maybe this could be but I swear to God, Texas has a hotel like outside of turn 2. So I don't think it's Texas. I don't want to see Texas anyways. Can we just not laser scan Texas? How about we just throw Texas in the garbage bin, and not do that? I'm kidding, obviously. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me, guys. What do you guys think? The only actual footage from NASCAR 25 that is here is this screenshot right here. Let me see if I can get it. This right here.
All of that.
Let's see the back end if I can. Oh, let me get back. All right, that's about as far as I can go. So. Yeah, this is like the actual NASCAR 25 screenshot right here. So, yeah, it looks good. I think this is, by the way, this is the Daytona garage area. So NASCAR 21 Ignition had all the garage areas pretty realistic. And when you laser scan a track, you also laser scan the infield. So this looks like Daytona because I've been to Daytona, and Daytona has those like indents, you know, where the fans can come look through those windows. So that does look like the garage area for Daytona. But yeah, that's NASCAR 25, another dev diary. I've gone through 25 minutes of being able to talk, so I appreciate that, guys. I'm going to just rest and try to get healthy again, get this virus out of my system. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and already subscribe if you're new. And we are officially, by the way, less than a year away from this game releasing. It's going to come up fast. Once we get into 2025, we're only going to be about 9 months away. Once you get to 2025, right now it's still like 11 months away. So it's kind of crazy that I think this was announced a while back, and we are less than a year away. So shout out to iRacing for continuing to work on it. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Take care of yourselves, and peace out.